How you doing, man? You okay?
Yeah, doing great. How about yourself?
I'm good. I mean, it's like 11 o'clock in England, so it's getting
Oh,
towards
wow.
sleepy time, but I'm okay. I'm doing all right.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this, man. I feel like I'm talking to a legend here. I've seen I've seen your channel from the beginning, like it seems, and it's just been growing.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of had the same, well, I say we had the same starting point. You had an earlier starting point with your career, but definitely on my channel, you were one of the first that I I think listened to. I was just asking
Mhm.
around for independent artists, I think, to listen to,
Yeah.
and I think either yourself or your friend posted a link to your music, and I just listened to it. They got into it, and I couldn't stop
Yeah.
listening to it, and I decided to listen to the whole damn catalog, really.
Well, thank you. I hope it brought you some enjoyment, it brought you entertainment in some way. I know a lot of my stuff is very melancholy, like, some of it is very sad. Some of it is just try to be funny at times.
Yeah, no, I think you've got a certain way of singing and coming across that is, even though you do have some quite sad topics, they're sort of done in
Mhm.
this, I don't know, this niche kind of character that you've got. Something is in that voice, something is just, yeah,
You're just like it's weird. It's
yeah.
weird. That's pretty much it. It's
I
it's
don't know.
different.
I think it comes across as wholesome and
Mm,
and a personality. So to people that don't really know you, would you be able to give a
yeah.
background about yourself? Even me, I don't really have much of a background about you other than your music.
Yeah. I currently live in San Antonio, Texas right now, but I was born here, but I was basically my what I consider home is Alabama. So I grew up at the time one of the few, Hispanic families, very minority, very like it basically it was very country. So that kind of really shaped a lot of my perspective on things, going into especially music, having a different perspective than most, because I was, like I said, one of the few like Latinos at the time, and now, thankfully we it's grown. But I come from Alabama. I basic anything I've learned, I didn't go to school for. I've learned by watching other people.
Right.
I wish YouTube was as big as it is now. Like back then, I would have learned even more.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I anything I've learned, I've just learned from like either friends who guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where I'm from Alabama.
So did was music kind of like an escape or a way for you to channel emotions in a world that was maybe a bit more difficult growing up for you?
Yeah, so to be honest with you, and I don't know how it was with you getting into music, but for me, it started in high school and it started with poetry.
Oh
I
wow.
started writing poetry, and I liked the girl, and I wrote her a poem, and I loved her reaction, and I just started writing more and more, and ultimately I ended up writing my first song about a girl, like most people do,
Yeah, yeah.
or yeah. So like I only needed two chords, and I wrote my first song, and I don't even know if it's called American Girl. I think it's on Spotify. It might be on SoundCloud, but it started really with poetry, man. Like,
Nice.
yeah, yeah.
It's probably a less usual route I hear from artists in terms of how they get into it, but through poetry is quite a unique and interesting way to do it. It's almost like you
Yeah.
had the poems and then you had to create the music to it instead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you feel this way. It becomes very therapeutic, It's like
Mm.
it's like it's like an escape.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
If
I mean, we all have our thoughts, our feelings, our hang-ups, the things we feel insecure about, and music is always a great way to channel that. For some people, anyway, creatively minded people tend to
yeah,
go down that route, don't they? So, who inspired you to make music? Was it just the poetry that inspired you, or were there any particular musicians?
yeah. So I mean, I love a lot of them. Dave Matthews Band,
Ooh.
Jack Johnson, of course.
I could actually
Even
hear that. I finished. Sorry to interrupt. I finished half an hour ago. No, an hour ago now, listening to your new album, and one of those tracks just screamed Jack Johnson to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love Jack Johnson. Yeah, he's a big one. Ben Harper, I don't know if you know who that is.
Mm.
I mean, not just, like your typical Jack Johnson singer-songwriters, like even like rappers, Kendrick Lamar is one of my favorite artists, even him, like he uh inspires me, Mac Miller, just to name a few.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You've got quite a range there then to kind of work off. And I think listening to your discography, which I would suggest people listening do, um, you can hear a range of different inspiration throughout, but a kind of core that is you, um,
Hmm.
and is like adamantly you. So even when you're trying something new, um,
Yeah.
you can kind of cling to that, which is nice. It's not too alienating compared to when other artists go a completely different route. Um, so I enjoyed that. We'll get into the album in a bit, but how would you describe the music that you typically create?
Uh, the best way to describe it, and I guess this is what, if I had to pick one thing that I would want anyone to take away from my music, right? It would be I would want them to simply, when they're listening, them just close their eyes and my music feel like you're just hanging out at a friend's house, and you're just there
Yeah,
listening to them,
yeah,
very, very personal, not too polished. I mean, polished enough, but like
yeah,
I don't want it to feel like if it's like just all in studio. I want it to have that gritty, that realistic feel to it. Yeah, I don't know, like that cassette tape sound,
yeah.
lo-fi.
And I wouldn't say that's a bad thing as well, because you can get some that go for the raw sound and it just
Mhm.
sounds like a demo or underproduced, but you
Yeah.
manage to make something that's quite well produced at the same time, still have that raw feeling that you're going for, like cassette sound, vinyl sound, whatever. And it does feel like that. And when you're talking about you want your music to feel like it's just you're having a chat with them. I could picture like having a talk with you and it's 2 a.m. somehow, and
Yeah.
we're really tired and somehow get into some sort of deep conversations and setting the world to right. And that's what it feels like. And that's that kind of personal connection that a lot of artists struggle to make with their
Yeah.
audiences. So I felt I connected with it at least.
Well, I appreciate, if anything, all I would want is that if at least one of my tracks, one of my songs, at least speaks to, someone, that's all that matters to me, at least if it lifts them up, because I know for me, when I'm feeling down, whenever I'm feeling sad, to be able to create, something, uh yeah, it's for me, but if someone else likes it, then great, and if they
Yeah.
don't, then that's fine,
Yeah, and
um
that's great as well. And I think what's very humbling about listening to your music is you can hear that it's not for the masses. It's not for loads of people. You're not, although we talked about inspiration and you do try different things and different
mhm.
styles, it's still you. And there's not really too much of an effort to say, right, I'm just basically making this pop song because I know people will like it and I'll put it out on Spotify
Yeah.
and it'll go onto all the playlists. Um, and that's really nice because that's refreshing. I'm not hearing the same song for the 2000th time. You know.
I I think if people have that expectation of like, oh, I'm gonna make this pop song, like I think most people will be disappointed. But if they make something that is meaningful to them, that is that they truly mean it, and they put it out, and if it does succeed, I think it means even more than if
Mm,
they're just trying to make just another hit song or something like that.
definitely,
Um,
definitely, yeah.
before I forget, I listened to your album, and it was it, like I've listened to it a few times, and it's like a good album to listen to while you're just taking a walk. You know what I mean? Like it's
Oh,
so
which one? My latest one.
yeah, your latest one.
Oh, the like
Yeah.
acoustic one. Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah,
Thank you
and
so much.
you had like the birds and like it felt like like I said, what I love doing is transporting the person right there with me.
Mm.
That this recent album was like if I was transported right there, just taking a walk, having a conversation with you. So,
Oh,
hey, good
fantastic.
on you.
I did want to get the impression that it was all in one time. So even though I recorded the song separately, there was
Yeah,
like this bird song throughout. So it's only like 5 songs, but it felt like someone just noodling. I wanted it to be like I'm just noodling on the guitar next to
yeah.
you. So that's the feeling I
Y-
got. Yeah. So
y-
thank you.
It
That's really
was
nice.
it was like a film, like all in one shot, where it's not cut, no cuts or anything, just one long shot. That's how it felt.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for that. That's made my day. Let's talk about your album then, Away From You, which is your most recent release. When
Okay.
did that come out? About,
Uh, it was released maybe like a month, 2 months ago, about a couple months back. Yeah.
yeah, cool. And what was the background for it, the inspiration?
So I was working away from my family. I was traveling a lot. And so I was just stuck in like a hotel room for most of the time,
Yeah.
working in a hotel room. And I just missed my kids and I missed my wife so much, and I just started messing around with my guitar, and the first song I wrote actually didn't make it onto the album, but it kind of stemmed like every other song stemmed from that.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the genesis of it. It was basically away from my family. Yeah.
Well, it's nice and listening to your older projects as well. A lot of your songs do seem quite family orientated, which is really sort of nice and
Mhm.
refreshing. And you do like to put in little like sound clips or they like video clips from
Oh,
time with your family, your
yeah.
kids chatting, I assume, or whatnot. And I always find that really nice and sweet.
Yeah, like I'm a big film lover. I love documentaries. So with my
Yeah.
music, I like to incorporate like whether it be little sound bites, and all of them are real. And of course, like they're okay with it. They actually think it's cool, but I try to do it whenever they don't realize I'm doing it because I want it to feel natural,
Okay.
without being forced, you
That's
know.
good.
But yeah, man, I love it. I just I want it to seem like a film, like that you can just imagine it, picture it.
Yeah. There's something so easy and sort of simple about, not in a bad way, about the album's concept that you're just missing your family. So I'm going to write about what I know. I'm missing them currently. I'm going to create some
Yeah,
songs about it. And that's really nice. And you can feel that it's not this big picture a lot of the time. It's this small picture of one thought, one feeling, and you can hear that expressed through the music. So,
yeah.
um, who would be interested in this album then? If you had to pick an audience member that you could say, right, this is definitely for you.
I think there is at least one track that at least someone can relate to in any way. If you have a family member, if you have, a son, daughter, any family member, I mean, this is for you,
Yeah.
that's if you ever had that feeling of missing someone, whether it be a family member or a loved one, a wife or a girlfriend, or and not even that, if you're simply just missing innocent times, like the simpler times,
Yeah.
like just feeling this kind of like a sense of like a loss, and you want to capture it again, you want to find that.
Yeah.
And so I think with this album, like I've talked to a lot of people that I know. Because I like to do that. I like to know their thoughts. They'll let me know, what worked for them, what didn't, and they're always honest. I love whether it be positive or negative feedback. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
And like every person has a song that they love, and it's a different track. And I'm like, wow, that's surprising that you would latch on to that one.
Yeah. I actually said in my review, because it's so fresh on my remind, on my mind. It's really fresh in my mind that on the album, well, on the review, I said, um, every time I listen to one of your albums, there are things I like and there are things I don't like.
Yeah,
But that's what I like about listening to your music, is it's almost like a pick and mix of like, oh, I'll try this one, I'll try this one, I'll try this one. Didn't like that one, but
yeah,
I like that one. And I really like that. And I also like that it's not stagnant. So you you are doing different things, you're trying different things, and that's keeping it fresh. And some of my favorite artists um, that I listen to are those that are trying to push boundaries, do something different every time, and that's what
yeah,
you do. And yes, it might not work for everyone. Um, does that matter? No, it depends. Like if you want it to matter, then you'd be making stuff that everyone would like to listen to. But it's for you at the end of the day, as you were saying. So yeah. Um,
yeah.
what is your favorite song from the album, though?
Away from you. Um,
Yeah.
man, it man, it's probably I for me, which away from you, the title, for the album, like I think that one for me has the most emotional punch, because as soon as I finished it, I showed it to my wife, and she cried, and she loved it.
Oh,
So in terms of like emotional punch to it, away from you. But the one I go back to again and again is A Time and a Place. I think it's very short, 2 minute. I
yeah.
had a lot of fun making it. Um, just very chill, very relaxed.
Mm.
Um, I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of my tracks, they're very short.
Yeah, I've
I
no
love
issue with
those.
that. In fact, I was struggling between the first three. So June, January, July, Time and a Place
Yeah,
I've got here, and Who You Are. I loved all three of those, and I thought that was a very strong sort of opener for the album. And I couldn't choose between the three of them. And yeah, they're all nice, short, sweet little things, And I think when you're away and you're busy, a short track is, you know, probably all you can do at the time. And that's
yeah.
great though. It's so concise and it's just a nice, neat little package, I think.
You know what's interesting about June, January, July is that when I was recording it, I don't know if you remember, like you hear the airplane at the end.
Yes.
Um, so that actually happened, and when it was happening, I was just so upset. I'm like, man, it ruined my recording. And I went back and I listened to it, and I just thought that it fit so perfectly with, like, it ended right where I wanted it to.
I thought it
And so I was
nicely
like,
mirrored the picture of being away from someone. You've got the airplane. I thought you actually
yeah,
added that in as well.
no, it happened. Like I was recording it, and I was just like, so like, oh man, it's gonna ruin it. And I don't know if you could tell, but like about 45 seconds into it, you start hearing the airplane from afar.
Yeah, no,
And then
I thought it was a bass sound, like a bass drone. I was like, oh, there's some like bass being added here, some basses here.
no, I wish I was that good. I wish I was that good, but it was actually the airplane, and it getting closer and closer and closer. I was like, as soon as I
Wow.
heard it, I was like, you know what? I'm opening it with this. This perfectly represents, like you said, what it means to be away.
Mm.
So yeah, interesting fact for you.
Yeah. I mean, there are nice things built into the album that are within that theme. Like we mentioned earlier, like the voice clips from like your children stuff. That just perfectly
Yeah.
mirrors like FaceTime calls that you'd have with them or memories of being with them. yeah, you've got the plane taking off, so it's just got some really nice elements to it that I think that's so unique that you just had the plane and you just kept it in. I think things like that are just what makes music magical. Just
Yeah.
those things that happen, those happy little accidents. So that's great. If you could give people a reason to listen to your music or even just this album, what would you say?
I think if I could give anyone a reason, I think that if you're feeling down, I hope I have a feeling that it might just put a smile on your face. And sometimes like a lot of people think music is just gonna change your life, and sometimes it does,
Mm,
but sometimes we just need we're having a bad day, we just need a smile, we need to laugh, we need something warm for that moment just to get us to the next moment.
yeah.
So yeah, that would be it, man.
That's a beautiful reason, I think, to get anyone to listen to music. If you want to smile, I like that. Most of you get like, oh, if you want to dance, and you're just like, do you want to smile? Okay.
Well, that too. I mean, I don't know if you were able to listen to the album I released before this one called My Family.
Don't know if
Um,
I have, but I definitely will be.
oh man, I it's my biggest album. It's my longest. It's like 50 minutes long. It's an epic. I actually there's like maybe 7 tracks in there, I think, that are I actually made the beats to them, the rap. And my brother, he
Nice.
actually is a rap artist, and he rapped to them. So definitely check them out. I
Hmm.
recommend them because they're very different from what I've ever done.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm intrigued now. I am intrigued. It's
yeah,
in a lot of the albums you kind of dip your toes in different things, but this sounds like
yeah.
you've kind of gone into the pool here. So yeah, I'll be listening to that then. Fantastic. Have you ever performed your music? Where have you performed? And do you have any upcoming shows? And can you tell that I write these questions down?
Yeah. I can't tell. I'm winking. I can't tell that you're right. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Um, I've performed at little coffee shops, little open mics, but right now, like I had some plans in the works, but they kind of put on hold. My wife, she's going through a loss of a parent recently.
I'm
So
sorry.
I've just been trying to be there for her during this time. So any of my plans in regards to like music, I've kind of put on hold because I mean, I was working on another album and it just like once this happened, I just put a pause. I'm like, you know what? Gonna put that aside.
Yeah,
This is what's most important right now.
yeah,
So
yeah. That's absolutely fair and fine. Yeah. And we live in a world anyway where you can just be an online presence and you don't need to perform. And that's
yeah.
completely like flipped on its head in the past 15
Yeah.
years or so, hasn't it? Um,
You
yeah,
know, I'm trying to little by little like put out my music more and more on whether it be TikTok, whether it be YouTube. And funny enough, a lot of people use, I don't know if you remember my song Coffee in the Morning,
yeah.
but a lot of people use that on TikTok. Uh, I have a lot of like people that they post it and my song's playing in the background. I'm like, this is so weird.
That
They're at their
is that
coffee
is
cup,
weird, but so cool.
yeah, I'm like, okay. And I made that on the spot for my wife because she loves coffee.
Yeah.
So I'm trying like slowly but surely, I'm trying. And
Yeah.
especially you doing this interview, this is great, man.
Yeah, well, these are
Appreciate
just
it.
things. I mean, I was like, how can I get people to listen to my music? I know, I'll listen to their music, and then they might return the favor by listening to mine. And that was my plan last year when I started. I was like, I need people to listen to my music. I'll
This is
review
very
theirs.
smart.
Yeah.
Very smart.
I thought, how can I do it? Being a family man and not really gigging or anything. I thought, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, so the internet was my next question actually. How has it impacted your approach to being an artist? We kind of covered that really. It's just all online, really. It's all numbers and
Yeah, everything.
trending.
You can do anything if you now like the thing about music and any kind of art is it's never been so like accessible
Mm,
for anyone, and I think that's great. Like you're able to reach people that you never thought you would,
yeah.
and that's fascinating.
Well, it goes for this interview. Like I would have never probably come across your music because it's such a saturated market music now because anyone
Yeah.
can put stuff on. But if you hadn't posted a link to your music that one day when I was just starting out and I was just trying to find artists, that might never have happened and we might never have crossed paths at all. So it's amazing that we can do this. And
And before I forget, I just want to say, thank you, not just for me, but for, the little artists out there, and I know you're just growing and stuff like that, but it does mean a lot, and I'm sure a lot of less known artists feel the same way. So, on behalf of like all the indie artists, people who only have 20 followers or 30, whatever, one follower, it does mean a lot, so I appreciate that,
thank
thank
you.
you for it. And
No,
yeah,
thank
man,
you. Thank you for the support. I mean, it it means a lot. I never thought
yeah,
I'd be
and
doing anything with music in my life. This isn't my main job, but I never thought I'd be doing anything. I wish
and
it
like
was.
hey man, you never know, like in a year, 2 years, like look where you were at a year ago and
Yeah,
look where you're at now, and
yeah,
it's just like the same for me. And I know, COVID, there was a lot of loss for everyone, but if COVID had never happened, I would have never been able to put out my music because it gave everyone the time to just to sit and just kind of look at their life, look at what they want, and
yeah,
that's when I decided I want to put my music out there,
yeah. 2020 was
so
the same as the year I wrote my first album as well. It was just gave everyone a chance to do what they wanted to do in a way, didn't it?
so you made yours during COVID? Is that what happened?
Yeah, first one, I think it was about August 2020, so a few months into, the pandemic and
Wow.
lockdown. But yeah, I just thought I'm going to make one. Never had. And then I was like, how I'm going to figure out how to use this online
Yeah.
stuff, this Spotify stuff. And I had to learn all that too. Because I think I'm just past that age bracket where I could be like, okay, I get streaming. So I've had to learn all
Yeah.
that. But yeah, no, thank you for coming on. Thank you for having a chat with me. It's been great to actually finally meet you after listening to music a year ago. Put a face to the singer as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. And like I said, I hope you keep doing what you're doing, and I hope to see your channel keep growing. And thank you for allowing me to be here to kind of like at least try to reach as many people as possible. Even if it is just to put a smile on their face. This means a lot to me. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And thank you as well. Take care.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Oh, I say.